Baby Yum Yummers. It is such an exciting day because I have the opportunity to introduce you to Emmy Award and Thurber nominee Erin Gibson. Erin, thank you so much for joining us and for speaking to Baby Yum Yum. And I would like to say, I'm sitting here in Johannesburg. Where are you joining us from?
Santa Fe, New Mexico in the States.
So thank you so much. I know that it's early in the day there. It's already kind of evening on this side. And I'm so thrilled to have the opportunity to connect with you. And before we start to talk about the Tiny Tunes, I quickly want to ask you, because I know that humor is super important to you. What do you think is the power, and why do you think humor has the power to break barriers and connect strangers?
Oh, there's nothing more incredible when you crack a joke and only three people in the group laugh and the other four don't, and you know those are your people instantly. It's kind
Yeah.
of this common language that doesn't require a lot of legwork. And I think it's also this incredible release that we have to laugh until we cry, to laugh until we can't catch our breath. What a wonderful thing to have access to, especially in times like these when we really, really
Mm.
need to have breaks in our consumption cycle.
Yes, totally. And it is the best feeling in the world to laugh and just to share those moments when tears of laughter are running down our faces. So, listen, class is back in session on Cartoon Network with Tiny Toons, and we're talking about Looniversity season 2. And I'm so thrilled about this series, and it's the second season. So, tell us more about the fun and exciting world of these Tiny Toons for their Looniversity adventure.
Well, it is we pick if you're too young to know, this is a reboot. So this was a show that was originally around in the 90s. And so we kind of took the premise that they had set up, which is where toons go to school to learn how to be the best toons they can be, and we kind of ran with it. So it's very focused around school, but really friendships and relationships. And so we wanted that part to feel grounded,
Mm.
and the shenanigans to feel more otherworldly, fantastical. And so that's where we really get to stretch our imaginations in this in season two. We have a lot of season two has a couple two-parters that operate like movies, which were really fun to do because we wanted to nod to the 90s movie that came out after the series. So
Yeah.
we got to kind of pay homage in a lot of ways to the original series while making it feel fresh for today.
Yes, and I mean, I grew up with these, tunes and the Looney Tunes, and they are really part of like children, family, and laughter memories that that all of us can share, I'm sure. But so, in terms of this specific one, what age group are you targeting with the Tiny Toons Looniversity, and how do you ensure that the content and the storyline stays age appropriate?
Right. Okay. So we aim for 6 to 12, but this is a four quadrant show. So
Mm.
we aim for 6 to 12, and we hope that other members of the family, something might catch their eyes. There's a lot of Easter eggs for people who grew up in the 90s that are in there.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, we just honestly, as long as it's silly and absurdist, that's kind of the sweet spot that I think all ages can enjoy. Sorry, I'm surprised my dog's in my lap. um, but
Okay.
as long as we keep it silly, it's not too cerebral, and it feels more classic, almost like classic clowning. That to me was the area that I felt like we could service everybody.
It's so exciting. And of course, because Baby Yum Yum is all about family and community, it's so wonderful when you do have something that you can watch together.
Yeah.
And I mean, from a character development point of view, how important is it for you that the character development happens and showing how they learn from the experiences and the lessons that they go through? And I mean, they are in such a colorful environment. So yeah, the character development, how important was that for you?
Well, we want this to be able to be viewed in a non-linear format. So there aren't like character arcs over the season per se, but we have mini arcs in each episode. So there's
Mm.
small lessons. It's not soapboxy, but we just, for example, we have an episode where they go to space called Tuned in Space. And it's an
Okay.
episode where Babs isn't feeling 100% herself. She's going through kind of a rough spot. And so we wanted to be able to tackle an issue like feeling in the dumps without getting too heavy-handed about it, but also
Mm,
not shying
mm.
away from it.
And those are so important because I think it allows the opportunity for parents to then afterwards have the conversation and just talk about these things that these Tiny Toons experience. And I think it often gives the opportunity for a parent to give a story to something that your own child might be going through and help them
Mhm.
to experience those moments in a different way.
I think it's one of the cool things about cartoons now, as opposed to, I think, earlier cartoons. It just wasn't the time where that stuff was really talked about. And I think we're in an era where there's just a lot more communication and I think approaches to parenting that are more emotionally deep. And so
Mm, mm.
we can talk about this in a fun, funny way that feels like there's a little touch of reality in that way.
Yes. And it's wonderful when that happens because it makes it easier to find the words, the language, and to identify because we fall in love with these characters and we can identify with these stories and as parents it helps us then to have those conversations. So I can imagine that long-lasting friendships is important and those unexpected surprises, how they deal with it, all like little lessons like that, right?
Yes, exactly. And we're giving a visual language to it. So it's not just so talky, we can show kids what it might look like to have this character go through something, to try on a different we have a episode where Hampton tries to be a bad guy. It's a class project. And so he gets hooked up with Yosemite Sam and he tries on a bad guy. And we get to it's not necessarily like he's not doing bad things, but we're exploring a character, a well established character in the Looney Tunes world, and we're parsing out what does it mean to be um, a cartoon villain, and we're doing it in a fun way. And it's not to say like um, this is something that it's more. The lesson is really you can play around with different aspects of your personality and maybe you end up at the end of the day not wanting to go that route, but it's kind of a fun little experiment when you're growing up and figuring out who you are, and it's more about like how you develop into who you might become as an adult.
And those are issues our children are facing quite a lot nowadays, especially considering social media and just everything that they get bombarded with. But Erin, you know what? We see the final part when it's like the final product, it is polished, it's ready, and it's beautiful. But behind the scenes, there's so much going on. Is there something surprising that happened or something that you feel we as the people who enjoy it, the final product should know? Because I mean, if you look at the credits, it's not just something that happens overnight, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people involved in this and a lot of amazing artists. And I have to say, one of the most exciting parts about creating this show is working with the artists. They are so creative. They absolutely contribute in a way you cannot imagine to the final product of this show, and bringing their own personal experience, their own visual style, their own taste to this show. And we really could not do this show without the artists. It makes it feel human and real. And oh, I mean, honestly, I just put words on the page and then they bring it to life. We owe them all. Everyone who enjoys this show owes the artists a great deal of appreciation for what you see. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Erin.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you.